Welcome to Pulp, where I delve into the darkest corners of the internet to find stories of the bizarre, the fascinating, and the spine-chilling. My name is Catherine Emsley, and I am your host. This episode is dedicated to my brother. Music has power to change our feelings, take us back to our childhood, heal our broken hearts. But every now and then, a song comes along that is so powerful that it shakes us to our core, a song that pierces through the noise and speaks directly to our souls. One such song is Johnny Cash's When the Man Comes Around.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering, and to conquer.
Okay, so this episode is going to be a little bit of a doozy. Lots of words for my tongue to trip over. So please bear with me. I'm gonna try my best here. All right, let's see. When the Man Comes Around is a powerful apocalyptic anthem that delves into the inevitable judgment day and the second coming of Christ. It draws heavily on the book of Revelation. Cash paints a vivid, ominous picture of these end-time events. The song's lyrics, steeped in biblical imagery, explore themes of judgment, accountability, and the urgency of righteous living. Cash's authoritative delivery and the song's sparse arrangement heighten a sense of impending doom and spiritual reckoning. Please do yourselves a favor and go and listen to the song. I can't play it for you here, unfortunately, but it is absolutely worth it. Okay. The song was inspired by a dream Cash had about Queen Elizabeth II, in which she described him as a thorn tree in the whirlwind. And I can actually hear her voice saying that. The dream, alongside his exploration of biblical themes, suggests personal engagement with the song's message of facing life's challenges and ultimately confronting the divine judgment. Recognized as the 296th best song of the 2000s by Pitchfork, a certified silver in the UK, When the Man Comes Around has left an indelible mark on popular culture. Its haunting melody and evocative lyrics, steeped in biblical imagery, explore themes of judgment, accountability, and the second coming of Christ. Cash's authoritative delivery and the song's sparse arrangement create a powerful sense of foreboding and spiritual weight. The song's versatility has made it a popular choice for soundtracks and trailers, appearing in films like Dawn of the Dead, Logan, and Killing Them Softly. It was also used in the TV series Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and video games like Operation Flashpoint, Red River. Beyond its musical impact, the song has resonated with listeners on a personal level. One listener interpreted the line, "and the whirlwind in the thorn tree," as a symbol of the indomitable human spirit enduring life's trials. When the Man Comes Around stands as a testament to Johnny Cash's enduring artistry and his ability to weave together spiritual themes and evocative storytelling. He was absolutely fantastic at that. Its profound contemplation of life, mortality, and faith continues to resonate with listeners today. Cash said of the song, quote, "I spent more time on the song than any I ever wrote. It's based loosely on the book of Revelation, with a couple of lines or a chorus from other biblical sources. I believe I have written 36 pages of lyrics. Then, painfully, I weeded it down to the song you have here." End quote. So before we look at the lyrics of the song, let's just first look at some of the biblical symbols which were referenced in the song. And we'll start with the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Four figures described in the biblical book of Revelation, specifically in chapter 6. They are often seen as symbolic representations of the destructive forces that herald the end times. Each horseman is associated with a specific aspect of calamity. I love the word calamity, I don't know why. Okay, the first one is the rider on the white horse. This horseman is often interpreted as representing conquest or false peace. He is depicted as coming forth with a crown and a bow, signifying victory and the ability to conquer. While some see him as a symbol of peace, others interpret him as false peace that precedes greater turmoil. So think of the calm before a storm. The second one is the rider on the red horse. Red horse. This horseman, I'm leaving all these mistakes I'm making in because, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I want to keep things more casual, but also it will take me weeks to record if I'm going to edit out every mistake I make, because my tongue does trip over words quite willingly. So let's try that again. The rider on the red horse. This horseman embodies war. He is given a great sword, symbolizing violence and bloodshed. The figure is often linked to actual historical wars and conflicts, but also to broader concept of warfare and its devastating consequences. Third one is the rider on the black horse. The horseman represents famine. He holds a pair of scales, signifying the weighing and rationing of food. This figure is associated with scarcity, hunger, and economic hardship, which can be a result of war, natural disasters, or societal collapse. On a personal note, I feel like possibly that is where we are right now in current times. Okay, the fourth one is the rider on the pale horse. This horseman is mostly commonly associated with death. He is often depicted as a skeletal or gaunt figure. He is accompanied by Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. This figure represents physical death, but also the spiritual death that can accompany suffering and despair. Okay. The exact interpretation of the Four Horsemen has varied throughout history and across different religious cultural contexts. Some scholars view them as literal figures which will bring about the end of the world, while others see them as symbolic representations of the destructive forces that have always been present in human history. So regardless of their specific interpretation, the Four Horsemen remain powerful and enduring figures or symbols of destructive potential of humanity and the world. Their image has been used in countless works of art, literature, and film, and they continue to capture the imagination and evoke fear and fascination. Halfway into the song, Cash sings the line, "The virgins are all trimming their wicks." So the virgins trimming their wicks are mentioned in the parable of the 10 virgins found in Matthew 25, verses 1 to 13. In this parable, 10 virgins are waiting for the arrival of a bridegroom. 5 of them are wise and brought enough oil for their lamps, while the other 5 are foolish and have not. When the bridegroom is delayed, all the virgins fall asleep. At midnight, a cry is heard announcing the bridegroom's arrival. All the virgins wake up and trim their lamps. The foolish virgins realize that they don't have enough oil, and they ask the wise virgins for some, while the wise virgins refuse, saying they don't have enough for both. While the foolish virgins go to buy oil, the bridegroom arrives and the wise virgins are ready. They go in with him to the wedding feast. The door is then shut and the foolish virgins arrive too late and are not allowed to enter. It just seems kind of nasty. This parable is often interpreted as a metaphor for the spiritual preparedness. The wise virgins represent those who are spiritually prepared for the second coming of Christ, while the foolish virgins represent those who are not. The oil in the lamps symbolizes the Holy Spirit, and the trimming of the wicks represents being spiritually alert and ready. Cash also mentions Armageddon in the line, "Till Armageddon, no shalom, no shalom." So Armageddon is a significant location in the book of Revelation, often associated with the climatic battle between the forces of good and evil. Now, while the exact location of Armageddon is not explicitly stated in the Bible, it is generally understood to be a symbolic representation of a final, decisive conflict. In Revelation 16, the sixth bowl of God's wrath is poured out, and the spirits of evil gather, the kings of the earth, for this great battle at Armageddon. This event is seen as a prelude to the second coming of Christ and the final judgment. The term Armageddon has been used metaphorically in various contexts, often referring to a large-scale conflict or decisive event. However, its biblical roots are firmly tied to the apocalyptic vision represented in the book of Revelations. Finally, near the end of the song, Cash says, "It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come." Alpha and Omega is the title given to God in the book of Revelation. It is a symbolic way of expressing God's eternal nature and sovereignty. In the Greek alphabet, Alpha is the first letter and Omega is the last. By calling himself Alpha and Omega, God is essentially saying, "I am the beginning and the end. I am everything." This title emphasizes God's eternal existence, his omnipotence, and his ultimate authority over all things. It signifies that he is the source and sustainer of all creation, and that he will ultimately bring all things to their conclusion. Looking at the lyrics alongside the biblical references they're based on, it becomes clear that Cash is telling us that we need to make a choice before it is too late. The song begins with, "And I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, 'Come and see.' And I saw, and behold a white horse." This comes from Revelations 6 verses 1 to 2, which says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, 'Come and see.' And I saw, and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." So, what does this mean? Well, the Lamb symbolizes Jesus Christ, who is worthy to open the sealed scroll. This act signifies the beginning of the end of times. The four beasts are symbolic creatures described earlier in Revelation. Their call to come and see invites the reader to witness the unfolding of the apocalyptic events. The first seal is broken and a white horse appears. This horse symbolizes conquest or peace, or perhaps false peace, that precedes greater turmoil. The rider of the white horse is armed with a bow and suggesting military power and the ability to conquer. He is also given a crown, signifying authority and domination. This rider is on a mission to conquer, suggesting a powerful force that will overcome all opposition. After that opening, the song begins, and here's an interpretation of just a few of the lines. I can't do them all, it will take forever. There's a man going round taking names. This line sets the stage for the impending judgment. The man in reference to the figure of Christ, who will return to judge the living and the dead. And he decides who to free and who to blame. This emphasizes the divine judgment that will determine one's eternal fate. The hairs on your arm will stand up. This line evokes a sense of fear and awe, suggesting the intensity of judgment. At the terror in each sip and each sup. This line implies the even most mundane activities will be scrutinized under the intense light of judgment. Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers. This references the apocalyptic imagery of trumpets and pipes, often associated with the end of times. 100 million angels singing. This line suggests a celestial choir heralding the arrival of the judge. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. This line is a more ominous image, perhaps suggesting the gathering of souls for judgment. Voices calling, voices crying. This emphasizes the chaos and confusion that will accompany the end of times. Some are born and some are dying. This highlights the cyclical nature of life and death, the ultimate judgment that awaits all. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. This line refers to God, who is the beginning and the end, and the coming of his kingdom. And the whirlwind in the thorn tree. This line is more obscure reference, possibly alluding to the dream that Cash had of Queen Elizabeth. It could symbolize the tumultuous nature of the end of times. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. And then, as I said earlier, this line is a reference to the parable of the 10 virgins from the Bible, which emphasizes the importance of being spiritually prepared for the coming of Christ. Sadly, I can't play the song for you here. I also can't read the lyrics out to you because of copyright laws. But I do encourage you, if you don't yet know the song, to listen to it on whatever streaming service you are currently using, and to listen to the profound lyrics and Cash's powerful delivery. It is absolutely worth it. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support the podcast, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support means the world to me and will help me to keep this podcast going. So until next time, cheers.